Good morning, students. How are you all? Today we will start our new chapter, Direct and Indirect Speech. So, what is direct and indirect speech? Direct speech, reporting the message of the speaker in exact words as spoken by him or her, is called direct speech. The words spoken by the speaker are put into quotation or the inverted comma. So, in other words, we can say that when we repeat the words of the speaker, it is said to be direct speech. For example, Rama said, I am busy now. So, this is the example of the direct speech. Now comes to what is indirect speech. So, in indirect speech, reporting the message of the speaker in your own words, right? So, in indirect narration, the sentences are designed in such a type the words that are used by the person are not exactly the same as the speaker said or conveyed. It generally talks about the past. For example, Rama said that she was very busy then. Now, there are some rules to change direct to indirect speech. So, to change a sentence of direct speech into indirect speech, there are various factors that are considered, such as reporting verbs, modals, time, place, pronoun, tense, etc. So, we will take all the factors one by one. So, first come rule 1, direct to indirect speech conversation in the reporting verb. So, when the reporting verb of direct speech is in past tense, then all the present tenses are changed to corresponding past tense in indirect speech. So, direct to indirect speech according to the changes in the reported verb. For example, she said, I am happy. So, in indirect, we can say she said that she was happy. Number 2, in indirect speech, tenses do not change if the words used within the inverted comma talks of a habitual action or universal truth. Just for example, direct, he said, we cannot live without air. Now, in indirect, we can say, he said that we cannot live without air. So, number 3rd point, the tenses of direct speech do not change if the number 3, the tenses of direct speech do not change if the reporting verb is in the future tense or the present tense. For example, she says or will say she is going. So, in indirect, we can say she says or will say she is going. Now, the rule number 2, direct speech to indirect speech in the present tense. So, present perfect change to past perfect change. Present perfect change into past perfect. For example, I have been to Boston, she told me. So, in indirect speech, we can say, she told me that she had been to Boston. Number 2, present continuous change to past continuous. For example, in direct, we can say, I am playing the guitar, she explained. In indirect speech, it is formed like, she explained that she was playing the guitar. Number 3rd, present perfect change to the past perfect. For example, he said she has finished her homework. In indirect, we can say he said that she had finished her homework. Simple present change to simple past. For example, indirect speech, I am unwell, she said. In indirect, we can say she said that she was unwell. Now, rule number 3, direct speech to in indirect speech, past tense and future tense. Now we are talking about the past tense and future tense. So first point, simple past change to the past perfect. For example, she said Irwin arrived on Sunday. In indirect speech, it is said to be she said that Irwin had arrived on Sunday. Number 2, past continuous change to the past perfect continuous. For example, we were playing basketball, they told me. In indirect speech, it like be they told me that they had been playing basketball. Futures change to present conditional. For example, she said, I will be in Scotland tomorrow. So it becomes, she said that she would be in Scotland the next day. Future continuous change to the conditional continuous. For example, he said, I will be depositing the old computer next Tuesday. So in indirect speech, we can say he said that he would be disposing the old computer next Tuesday. Now rule number 4, direct speech to indirect speech in interrogative sentences. So no conjunction is used if a sentence in direct speech begins with a question what, where, when, as the question word itself acts as a joining clause. For example, where do you live? Asked the boy. So in indirect we can say the boy inquired where I lived. Number 2, if a direct speech sentence begins with auxiliary verb, helping verb, the joining clause should be if or whether. So in that situation we can use if or whether. For example, she said, will you come for the party? In indirect we can say she asked whether we would come for the party. So third point, reporting verb such as said, said to, changed to, inquired, asked or demanded. For example, he said to me, what are you wearing? In indirect we can say he asked me what I was wearing. Now change in models. Direct to indirect speech. So while changing direct speech to indirect speech, the models used in the sentence change like can becomes could, may becomes might, must become had to, would have to. Right? So these are models that do not change like could, would, should, might, ought to. Now rule number 6, changes in pronouns. So the first person in the direct speech changes as per the subject of the speech. For example, he said, I am in class 12th. So in indirect speech, we can say he says that he was in class 12th. The second person of direct speech change as per the object of reporting speech. For example, she says to them, "You have done your work." In indirect speech, we can say, she tells them they have done their work. The third person of direct speech doesn't change. For example, he says, "She dances well." In indirect speech, he says that she dances well. Now, request, command, wish, exclamation. In that situation, indirect speech is supported by some verbs like requested, ordered, suggested, and advised. So, therefore, the imperative mood in direct speech changes into the infinitive in indirect speech. In exclamatory sentence that express grief, sorrow, happiness, upload, interjections are removed and the sentence is changed to an assertive sentences. So this is the rules to change direct into indirect speech, changes in pronouns, changes in tenses, changes in models, right? So do practice on this. Have a nice day. Allah Hafiz everyone.